Welcome everybody to an alternative view on twin flames, specifically for starseeds, and some instruction on how to call in this sacred union should you wish to. I am RozyGlow Hannes. Welcome to my channel. I am a starseed activator, multidimensional success coach, channel of divine grace, and the founder of the Star Peace movement. And I guide starseeds to detox and to reprogram their early life conditioning so they can remember their mastery and they can start to live the life they want to live, fulfill their own personal dreams so that they can get on with fulfilling their soul mission. So if you like the sound of that, please make sure you subscribe, hit the notification tabs. Come find me on socials. You'll find RozyGlow on Instagram. You can join my website community. All the links are in the text box below this video. All that is required is that if you feel the resonance, you take some action. Because today I'm going to unpack a view that was given to me by my wonderful teacher, Susanna Kennedy, that really supported me to go from longing for a sacred union, longing for that one person in my life that I felt was the one that I could truly commit to and share my life with and get over my commitment phobia and everything else that was going on that meant I was self-sabotaging, to actually bringing in the sacred union, the beautiful man that I'm now married to, engaged to, married to, have been married to for over 2 years now. And the better it gets, the better it gets. So let's unpack this. Now, there are going to be 2 books that I am going to guide you to read or listen to. And remember, if you're like not sure what this starseed business is, there's a lot of different videos that explain starseeds and different publications about them. But from my point of view, when I talk about starseed, I'm talking about souls that have already evolved beyond conflict, have already evolved beyond duality in terms of consciousness. So home isn't Earth. It doesn't feel like home for us as we come here. And we're actually on a volunteer mission in this lifetime to come support the ascension of humanity. Now, this is because we have grown into a space where we know we can exist beyond war, beyond conflict, beyond duality. And when we heard that planet Earth was ready to move beyond the fear matrix and wanted some support with that, we absolutely jumped at the opportunity to come and support those who are ready to start their ascension process. Just remember that as starseeds in our current generation, not our children and grandchildren, but those of us who recognize ourselves or awaken to the idea we're starseeds, have typically had really challenging early life experiences that were there to help us to remember our mastery by, first of all, getting us to seek out solutions to the issues that we have actually been through in our lives. So, you know, when you come from a broken home, when you come from an unhealthy relationship, when you come from a space where your own needs were not met, then you're going to seek out healing for that. And in your journey of seeking that healing out, you will then remember how to embody the unified version of you. And as a result of that, then take on some kind of role in this life where you become a teacher, a guide, a therapist, a way shower, an influencer, a creator of entertainment that will support those who are ready to see things differently to do so. So in terms of how you can actually contact me, if you are someone who wants to work with me one-to-one, please go to the Rosanna Hannes website and have a look at what I do there, because that is where you'll find me in the arena of one-to-one work these days. And if you love what I'm talking about and would like to be able to access the way to get there from where you are to where you want to be, then you can go to the RozyGlow website. Again, the links are in the text box. And in particular, I'm going to invite you to check out the page that is about the Fearless, Loved Up and Free to Be Me course. This is exactly what I went through myself. It took me from being a fear-filled version of myself, a version of myself that was longing for but didn't have, to the version of me that sits here today, has everything that she desired and longed for, and is now on her biggest mission ever, which is the Star Peace mission. So remember that in the process of having gone through it myself, I've refined it, I've reiterated it, I've brought in everything that I feel would truly support you to get the fastest results in the shortest amount of time. And as I went through the value of the course, it's over $40,000 worth of content there and access support for a fraction of the price. So it's so worth the investment when you realize what you're actually getting. And it is resetting your nervous system from fear, adrenaline, to love and oxytocin. And that is how we become a vibrational match for what we want. So let's move into the twin flame situation. Now, There are many, many people who talk about twin flames. They've got books written about them. They've got videos about them. This is not to discredit anyone's other view. I just want to share with you this view that really empowered me to move from the not having to the having. So first of all, when we're listening to people and taking on their view of what's going on, I think it's very, very important to practice discernment and say, okay, before I take on what they're saying as the absolute verbatim truth, do they have what I want? Are they in the space that I want to be in? Do they have the twin flame relationship that I would like to have? Do I see something that for me is a resonance to align with? Because if the answer to that is no, then what are you doing? You're giving your power away to someone that has a nice theory, but not necessarily got the outcome, the material outcome that you want, and perhaps they even want. So where do we go with that? And every one of us is on a different journey. From my point of view, I wanted a real life, physical, in this earthly existence relationship. And I wanted to have the experience of a man in my life, that was my choice, that really has my back, that I feel I can trust, I can lean into, I know is supporting me, I know will go the extra mile for me. I know when I say jump and he goes high, how high, it's not because he's my lapdog, but it's because he has a true sense of his own value, his own worth, and he loves the game of being me stretching myself to my next level and going, hey, will you meet me here? I'd love you to meet me here. And one of my gifts to myself is I never stop growing. I know that. I know that what I want today may well be very different tomorrow, but I have to get to what I want today to get to where I want to go tomorrow. So change is constant. Embracing change is essential. And, you know, if you're liking what I'm saying, do hit the like buttons. It really, really helps. And feel free to share this video. So here's the alternative view. Let's just say that when it comes to a twin flame sacred union relationship, we have been taught to believe that there is one other person walking this earth at this point that is our twin flame, is our other half, is the male or the female or the non-binary counterpart to the version of me that feels like something is missing, something is there to connect with. Now, on a soul level, before we incarnate, before we separate into gender, we are both the masculine and the feminine, the yin and the yang, right? So our external gender doesn't really play a part in this. Neither does our sexual orientation. It's just understanding these dynamics of yin and yang will really help, because there's active and passive elements to both the feminine aspect and the masculine aspect when we consider this from the perspective of paternal energy and maternal energy. And I say this because it really links to our connection to the divine, to source, to how we perceive the creative force, if you like, that has brought all of us into existence, as we are all a part of that divine source, all that is. So as we contemplate that, how about this perspective? How about, instead of there being one other being that we are destined to find in this lifetime, that we must search for, that we must be very clear not to get the wrong person, etc., etc., our true divine counterpart, our other half, if you like, to this physical version of us, is non-physical and will always remain non-physical. If I'm here as a female that identifies as heterosexual, and I want a male partner, then my divine counterpart is the masculine element to my feminine frequency. But that masculine element is non-physical, always stays non-physical, is always watching over me, is always, if you like, guiding me towards fulfilling the mission I've chosen for myself, right? That we have chosen together, if you like, as a way of unifying into even greater unification, because we're all going back home. So if they never incarnate, what does happen? Well, the way Susanna explained it to me is that our twin flame, sacred union energy, will seek out the most helpful, most beneficial, most vibrational match, physical counterpart in this life around us to imprint on, to bring their energy into, so that we can actually get closer to the ultimate aim that we have. So if I make this simpler, I, as me now, have my beautiful husband, divine counterpart, sacred union, who is my husband, Ian. Now, let's just say, for whatever reason, he needed to depart his physical body, or it didn't feel in resonance for us to be together anymore. Does that mean me and my twin flame are no more? From the perspective that I see it, this being is no longer able to be a vibrational match for me. Either they need to leave their physical bodies, or actually we've come out of the union frequency. And as a result of that, my twin flame will go back into non-physical form and seek out the next most appropriate available being that can resonate at the frequency that will allow my twin flame energy to come in. And when I first heard this, I think I was a bit bummed initially, because it was kind of moving me out of the story that there's just one being for me. However, I always believed from as young as I remember that there is just one. There is that one that you are meant to be with, and you're meant to find and seek out. And in so doing, the beautiful alchemy you create together actually does such an amazing thing for you and for them and for the whole world, that I definitely wanted to have an example of a healthy sacred union. When I got over the idea that my twin flame could actually shift bodies and could show up maybe for a transient period of time to help me get to the place in my consciousness where I could then accept the next version of this twin flame, as in the next human being that could come in, which was a better vibrational match for my twin flame energy. That means I can let those go that I've had a strong resonance, a strong vibrational attraction to. Maybe they are what we perceive as a false twin. Maybe they brought out more of my shadow that I needed to integrate so that I could accept sacred union when it came into me. The point is, it's never too late. The point is, when you let go of this idea and this obsession around finding your twin flame, and you open to being the purest vibrational resonance yourself to your divine counterpart, then you can resonate, bring someone in, whether it's for a night, a month, a lifetime, that is a vibrational match. Enjoy and be present in that relationship. And if it starts to feel like it's not aligned anymore, and you are doing everything in your power to create that greater alignment, but it's not there, you're allowing and accepting that this needs to be transient and to move away from it because it's becoming toxic rather than being healthy and divine. And as a result of that, as you let go of what no longer serves you, you can bring in someone else in due time, as you are a vibrational match for this being that is your divine counterpart, is the vibrational match of your twin flame at this new level of your resonance. I say this because it took me until I was 40 to actually really be ready to accept the beautiful man that's in my life today. I did have other relationships. I fell in love many times. I thought I'd found the one many times. And when I look back, this doesn't make anything that I felt wrong. It's just that they were the right person at that point in time. Even those who I really got wounded through my connection with, they brought up elements of me that created the opportunity for forgiveness, for compassion, for discernment, for boundaries, for being transparent and accountable, and all the other qualities that are virtues of stepping into alignment with our soul truth. It allowed me to refine my idea of what love is, and to open to the idea that I could ask for everything that I wanted. And maybe it would take time before everything that I wanted could show up as one being. And that when that being did come into my life, all I had to do was face my fear of what I wanted actually arriving on my doorstep, say yes to it, treasure it, commit to it, and every day make that choice again to be present in this union today without taking it for granted, which is a challenge. Once you've gone from longing to then having, you have what you want. It's then about maintaining it and then discovering the other parts of you that show up that go, oh, okay, is there anything else you want? Are you happy with this? what is coming up in you now that can evolve into a greater version of you. Anyone who's got any questions of what I'm saying, please feel free to use the comments to bring any questions to me, and I'll be very happy to make other videos for you. But this particular perspective allowed me to go from always attracting Mr. Wrong, Mr. Unavailable, Mr. Uncommitted, Mr. Not Quite Right, to actually attracting the man that I felt I could spend my life journeying next to, that I have no desire to see a timeline ending with. Like, absolutely adore this being, would like to be with him for the rest of my life, would like him to be with me for the rest of his life. That's how I feel now. That's how I felt 4 years ago. This is where we are, and we're living it. And the treasure in all of this is the fact that as human beings in skin suits, at some point we will leave our bodies, right, as souls in these physical beings. And that's where being in sacred union means being in conscious union. It means being present with the fact that it's easy to take for granted what once upon a time you wondered if you would ever have. But in actually allowing yourself to say yes, to commit to the journey, to look at where you're scared to make that commitment, where there are trust issues, to do the inner work yourself rather than be expecting the other person to do it for you, is really important in your ownership of your vibrational match to being in sacred union. Because we don't need saving. It's not like we suddenly come together with another person and our lives are completely different and, you know, we're a whole different version of ourselves. It's through the alchemy of coming together with another, of bringing your shadow and your light to their shadow and their light, and the synergy that you create together because you wish to create union rather than conflict. You wish to resolve rather than end up in separation. These are the markers that come about as a result of you having gone through heartache in the past, heartbreak in the past, and still choosing to believe in the power of love, that love always wins. So the alternate view is that your twin flame never incarnates. Your twin flame overlays into the most appropriate human at the time to be able to help you get to the next level of self-integration, of your inner masculine and your inner feminine being more resolved, of your inner child having their needs met so you're not projecting them onto your partner. And as a result of that, and you going through your own vibrational integration and ascension, you can attract better and better versions of your twin flame, if you like, in human physical form. If you like the sound of that, do hit the like button. As I said, for me, this was what absolutely changed my life and took me from longing to having and enjoying every moment of it. And, you know, if you want some of the, well, how to actually, you know, create this sacred union is about you being able to lay the foundation in yourself. It is about your relationship to yourself, first and foremost. And the time that I'm making this video, I have just actually created the new moon co-creation activation meditation for StarSeeds. Now, this is a closed meditation group. It's not going to be on YouTube anymore. It won't be anywhere else other than through joining my community and asking for it. This was the new moon in Sagittarius. And the reason I say this, it's the cultivating of the courage to say yes to where you need to say yes, and to say no to where you need to say no. So that might mean no more of this relationship that goes round and round in circles. I'm going to have the courage to say no to another round of it and say yes to meeting myself in the void of being single and not knowing where the next sacred union counterpart is going to show up, but knowing I need to honor myself enough to say that as much as I want this, this isn't good for me. This isn't serving my highest ideals. So I am going to step away this time round, having gone through it many other times before. I'm going to actually choose something different for myself. So I'm going to look inside. And I also mention this because next week I'm going to have the lovely Tara Love Perry guesting for me on the Wednesdays, the Star Peace Wednesdays talk in my, I think it's my Facebook group. It might be here. We'll see. And she is the queen of self-love. She is all about I love you, me, and recognizing how important it is for us to love ourselves as a commitment to our partners. Now, I do remember when people used to say that to me, and I'd be like, oh, I just want a guy in my life that really shows up for me, that will actually commit, will be the version of masculine I really want in my life. And, you know, I get that. I so hear you. I totally get that. And the way you'll get that the fastest way is to really practice radical self-love. It's to learn to get to know yourself, to embrace yourself, all the bits of you reject, you abandon, you betray. All of that is about us being able to not abandon, reject, or betray ourselves and bring all of our shadow to light. The more we accept ourselves, the more we can accept someone else. Now, the secret sauce to actually calling in your sacred union partner, for me, was about making a commitment every day to call in my I am presence. That's my higher self-consciousness, to command that I am in a sacred union, divine counterpart union. Sorry, I called it I am co-creating my sacred union with my divine counterpart. That's what I used to say. I am co-creating my sacred union with my divine counterpart, ascension partner. And I called it in every day. Now, if I spent the rest of my day going, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Why isn't it here yet? This isn't working. I would have been eroding my commitment and my connection to receiving. So I would call it in every day. And I would then hold the vibrational match of actually having it. So anything I could do to feed my energetic frequency with what it would feel like to actually have my divine sacred union counterpart, ascension counterpart, I can't even say it anymore, my divine sacred union ascension partner in my life, I would do it. So this is where this book comes in. So important. Okay, this book is called The Honeymoon Effect by Dr. Bruce Lipton. It is called The Science of Creating Heaven on Earth. And it's brilliant because it tells you why we get into all the human pitfalls of dysfunctional relationship. And it does start from before we're even born. Okay, it starts from the health of our parents' relationships, which is kind of based on the health of their parents' relationships. And it goes back a lot of different generations. So you may have heard me talk about intergenerational trauma or transgenerational trauma in the past. Ultimately, we have to understand the human condition, because as starseeds, although we have come from a more evolved consciousness, although we have come from a state where we have transmuted the need to be in duality and conflict, when we enter into physical earth reality, when we are fused egg and sperm and we start to receive the downloads of our bloodlines, we buy into the stories of those bloodlines because we've come here to help clear those stories through our own journey. So this gives you the human condition beautifully laid out. And I mention this because this book changed my life. I read it. I was like, I want that. How do I create it? That's how I found my teacher. My teacher taught me the energetic components to this, but I then needed to refine that for myself because I came from tremendous fear, tremendous struggle, paradigm conditioning. So having spent many years as a yoga teacher myself, I knew how cellular memory works. And I knew that energetic practices are great, but on their own, they're not going to completely transmute the old stories into new ones if we don't bring in breath, sound, movement practices that are specifically designed to support the clearing of our energy field and the rewriting of our cellular memory. So I went to work and brought together everything I'd learned in this book, everything I'd learned from my beautiful teacher, Susanna, and everything I'd learned as a yoga teacher who specialized in everything to do from fertility through to postnatal recovery, toddlers, children to teens, and then adult yoga. And this was really about undoing the patterns in the body, undoing the postural habits, the beliefs, and then creating the kind of structures in our physical reality that would actually line us up with being a vibrational and physical match for what it is we say we want, our divine counterpart, sacred union, ascension partner. Oh, it's a mouthful. I am calling in my sacred union, divine counterpart, ascension partner. Yeah, that is exactly what I used to say. And now I just say thanks for it every day. So that book, absolute must. What that leads to is the course I was talking to you about. So when I work with someone one-to-one, I take them through all of this content in a one-to-one dynamic way, which is through my physical or my energetic presence in their lives and supporting them to do things in this way. But what really is the pathway that most people have committed to is what I call Fearless, Loved Up and Free to Be Me, which is my signature course program. I now have other wonderful coaches who teach it on my behalf, and I oversee it, and I'm involved in it because I know this is the one foundational training that no one does and yet is essential to us mastering, one, being in good relationship with ourselves, two, having sacred unions with everyone that we are in relationship with, three, bringing in an abundance of all it is we say we want more of: time, money, wealth, resource, recognition, clients, whatever it is you say you want more of, vibrant health. And also, it allows us to understand as much as we need to from our mind's perspective to truly trust the journey of our soul and to do what we came here to do, which is to go through the hardships we've experienced in early life so that we can actually remember those things that we struggled with most are where the gifts are and the reminders of our existing mastery that we need to remind ourselves of. Through the process of remembering what we forgot, we start to firstly, and this is important, take care of our own needs. What is it I need in order to thrive? What is it I want in order to feel joy in my life? Those questions have to come if you feel you are here in service to the collective, if you are here in service to others, here to support ascension through activation. Your needs are absolute paramount. And we've got a whole load of social conditioning that says that is wrong. So unless we detox and reprogram that, we keep finding ourselves wanting to help others without being in a particularly well-resourced space ourselves. And this does not mean you need to be perfect. Remember that. No one expects you to be perfect to have a sacred union relationship. No one expects you to be perfect to fall in love, right? No one expects you to be perfect so that you can have more money, time, whatever it is that you want. What is important for you to recognize is the things you don't have in your life, you don't have because you're not a vibrational match for them. So whether that's downloading the programs matrix style, right? Whether that's seeking evidence of, like reading that book I just mentioned to you and going, oh, I love the sound of that. Or seeing couples that it looks like they have what you want, you can feel their energetic resonance. Whether it's allowing yourself to watch movies and to watch TV series, to read books that are going to fill you up with the oxytocin vibrational feeling, the love hormone feeling that is what is a call out for your sacred union, your twin flame. This is the work that we do to line ourselves up on a vibrational level. But all of this does require that you yourself have gone through a system upgrade from fear matrix programming to divine matrix upgrades. Okay. And that's exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about the Fearless, Loved Up and Free to Be Me program, or I talk about working with me one-to-one, which is what I now call the superconscious method of basically putting your soul in control. Okay. And what that really means, putting your soul in control, it means allowing the part of you that already has what you want to lead you to it. Okay. If you're stuck in your fear programming, then you are basically allowing a version of yourself who's under the age of 7, quite traumatized, trying to avoid more pain, to guide you through every step of your life journey. Now, as much as I love children, I'm not going to put my life and my future in the hands of an under 7-year-old that actually has a limited perception of the situations I'm facing as an adult. I ask you whether you feel that that is a good idea to have an under 7-year-old running the show, driving your vehicle in life, right? It's really important to remember that superconscious activation is soul blueprint activation. It's about you putting your soul in control, surrendering control to your soul, and knowing that your ego programming, your conditioning is going to kick up against that. It's actually going to try and stop you because it's stuck in survival programming. It's there to help you survive, not to thrive. So it has its place, but on its own, it's not going to get you to the place that you're thriving. And being with your sacred union, your twin flame, your everything that matters to you doesn't come from a survival place. It comes from a thriving place. So the last thing I want to alert you to is this really cool little book called ET 101. So if you're like, I like what she's saying, but I'm not sure about this starseed business, have a read of this book. It is really funny. It's really short. to me, this was like, oh my goodness, that is me. So between this and between this one here, you kind of have the bridge of us being humans with soul consciousness, seeking to activate our soul consciousness to run the human life story so we can actually fulfill our own stories, our own desires, and then teach others how to do it. That's the role of a starseed. Okay, so again, to find out more about how you can work with me to bring to you, to be a vibrational match for what it is you desire, to allow yourself to clear the blocks to love and to everything else you want in your life, check out the text box below. Please do check out the Fearless, Loved Up and Free to Be Me program content, see how it resonates, what questions you have. You can book a call through following that link on that page. And if you are more interested in the one-to-one journey, then head to rosannahannis.com. You'll see there's a lot there about the entertainment industry because it's working with the imagination that allows us to actually change the story of our lives and the story in the collective. When I'm working with one-to-one, I'm working at that level to be able to shift the narrative personally and in the collective. I love you all so much. I'm so grateful to you for taking the time to listen to this, to watch this, to open to the possibility that this could liberate you and allow you to actually have what you want rather than long for it and keep getting stuck in your head trying to work out what to do and how much more patient you need to be before you can have it and how much longer it's going to be and what else needs to happen. Come back to your center, look inwards, do the work. And the work is beautiful, by the way. Fall in love with yourself and just see how the world around you changes. I am living my best life today. The better it gets, the better it gets. And growing into the more fulfilled version of yourself means you stepping into living as your higher self. And so when you tap into your higher self-consciousness, you're calling your future self, who already has what you want, to step forward and guide you. So I hope that resonates. I'd love to know how you feel about this. I'm sending you loads of love. Have a wonderful evening. Remember, anything that you want to access, like the Sagittarian new moon, co-creation, meditation, activation, you can do through joining my website, through RozyGlow.com, asking for it, and we can send it to you. And you can also join the Facebook community, Star Piece, Seeding the New Earth Narrative. I'll put it in the links. If you would like to basically co-create a rewriting of the narrative in the collective consciousness, because we're all here to do that. Loads of love, beautiful ones. Take care now.